In this video, we're going to take you on a van tour of our good friends, Matt and Candace. This is a little bit different than our van. It's more of a weekend adventure type of van. Hope you like it. If you do, hit that like button, smash the subscribe button. Appreciate you, appreciate the support.
Hey, I'm Matt.
I'm Candace.
This is our 1996 Ford Econoline E150. We bought it right before the quarantine, so we bought it in early 2020 and spent about 3 months doing the initial conversions. It was originally a passenger conversion, so it has the high top conversion, and then we pulled out everything else from here back. It has we bought it with 115,000 miles on it, and now we're around 145 to 150-ish, I think. Total cost. Ooh, this is an estimate because I didn't want to know what I was spending. I bought the van for $2,400, did about $1,200 worth of work to get it up and running and street legal. Then from there, the build out was, I would say, $6,000, including supplies, tools needed, and battery, the solar panels, all that stuff. It was about $6,000. Since then, I've done a few small things, upgrades or changes that have probably been another $1,500. So whatever that math is. And Candace will show you the inside.
So this is our kitchen area. Under here we have 12 gallons of water, and that feeds into a sink with running water. So that's pretty useful. We also have a little kitchen drawer right here. That's where we keep all of the kitchen things, and then some also like bathroom type things like shampoo and deodorant and those kinds of things. And then we can also turn this into a tabletop like that. We have a little seat. We can turn the front seat around so that it becomes a little communal area where several people can hang out and relax. And then that's one of my favorite features. It's a quiet closed drawer. Back here we have the sleeping area, aka the bed. We have a nice little feature because I'm short and Matt's not, where we can pull up the foot of his bed and prop up with these legs. So now his feet can lay out flat, and mine can too, but I'm short. And we also have these sweet little lights that are on dimmers in the ceiling. And some fairy lights.
Alright, so a little bit more about the build specifically. We have the Alpacool fridge, which is one of the more budget brands, but it has been awesome and reliable for the last year and a half. It has kept food cold during summer days. We did a trip last summer where we were mountain biking or hiking during the day, and when we got back, this was still up and running. The meat was cold, the cheese was cold, and the fruit and veggies we store up top stayed pretty fresh. We usually keep the dry food in this little collapsible container that also doubles as a seat. If we're staying on it, if we are out of town for longer trips, then we'll usually stock this up. For shorter weekend trips, we will usually just use the bulkhead area up here. So in this, we have 2 storage bins. One is consumables, so things like ketchup, Spam, salt, spices, anything that doesn't need to be refrigerated. And then on the other side, we have the non-consumables. So these are things like right now fans because it's super hot out. Then we have dish soap, hand soap, more deodorant because it's super hot out. Dish rags. We try to dry the dishes with the reusable rags more than the paper towels. But we also have the bungee system set up for the paper towels so they're not flapping around all over the place. And then in the corner over here, I have 3 USB ports and 1 USB-C port, all hooked to the battery under the bed. So things like phones, watches, cameras, anything that needs to be charged with off the 12-volt system will sit up here. All right, we also have a camping stove. It's a propane and butane dual fuel camping stove. This was just an Amazon purchase, as well as the pan, which is dented from falling out of there when it's not properly supported. And then there's also a pot behind it. So single pot, single pan for the cooking, which all hooks up to. Down here is the propane. It is not currently sealed, but I have a sealed container to keep that locked up. And then it is vented out directly out the bottom of the van. That was some home engineering. So as long as you don't think about it too much, you'll be okay. Moving into the back, Candace showed you guys the bed and the extension. Underneath is really just storage. This is normally where we'll keep things like larger items. On the winter trips will be snowboards. On the summer trips, we'll usually have larger, bulkier items under there, helmets, anything that doesn't fit in the back garage. So this is our closet area. We split it half and half. If she has any overflow or any bulkier items like the winter clothes, will go under the bed, which I'll show you guys in a second. The other piece is on the sides of the beds, we have USB chargers here. So watches and phones, things that need to charge overnight, can plug in over here. And again, this all runs through the battery over here. There is the 110 outlet here and another one up top, so if we're working off our computers, we can sit here and charge this. There is a switch that I installed for the Renogy inverter. However, I have not had a lot of luck working with Renogy and their inverter, so instead I have one that is not hooked to this switch, that is direct access under the bed. Also, this is a new addition for the summer. I've seen a few of these in a few places online. I have a 1,000 watt inverter hooked to a 100 amp hour lithium ion Battleborn battery, and this so far has worked with it. So it's hot water in the morning or a cup of tea before bed. This thing collapses down pretty small and has been great to work with. So we also have the Max Air fan, which I would highly recommend. Because it can stay open overnight regardless of rain. However, if you leave it open and start driving with the motor still running, it will air out, and the only way to fix it, at least that I've found, is to pull the fuse to reset the whole thing. So I'll show you a little bit about the power for those that do care under here. So it is an unsafe mix and chaos of wires. However, I have the 100 amp hour Battleborn lithium ion battery with the 40 amp inverter hooked, the 100 amp inverter over here with the 40 amp charge controller that is hooked to the solar up top. And then it's all on the kill switch back here. This is a queen size bed width-wise. Fully extended with the bottom up. It's a queen size for me. A little bit shorter on Candace's side because she's just a tiny little thing. For underneath the bed, the garage area, this is where we have the necessities. These are the things that we use, either campsites, hikes, outdoor stuff, or managing the van, and anything we're doing in it stays in there year round. Outside of that, if it's a summer trip and we have bikes, then we'll usually have helmets, shoes, riding gear here. Or we also have this for some of the muddier shoes. Let's pretend these are the muddier shoes. We can just strap them in there. Keeps them from getting everything else in the back muddy or wet.
You never have too many bungees.
Always, always have more bungee cords. So under here goes to the full length of the bed. Is usually, like I said, overflow things, larger stuff. In the winter, snowboards, helmets, jackets. In the summer, it's dog stuff or anything that we're going to use for that specific trip. We use the Reflectix for the back windows, which is more about privacy than anything else. However, we do have some handmade covers to go over the rear windows that do a little bit of insulation, but not enough. So if it's below freezing for more than a few hours at a time, the inside will freeze. We did a winter trip with the Little Buddy propane heater, and once we got to altitude, it didn't really work. So it was really just a matter of dressing warm and staying close. But it worked. Except for the water, that didn't work because the whole system froze. One of the other things that we've found is anytime we're camping, some of the best camp spots usually have really bad bugs, especially in the summer. So one of the solutions to that was to get the as seen on TV magnet bug screens and custom fit it to the van. So what we've done is take the magnet side in the middle, add Velcro to the outsides, then run this lets us have
That's a good setup.
fresh airflow through the van while also keeping the bugs out. And we have one in the back that is permanently just stored rolled up with magnets down the side, so we can unroll that one, magnet it to the side, and get airflow through the van. Candace does not like sleeping in this situation because
Wild animals.
the magnets don't keep wolves and bears out, but it does pretty good with the bugs.
Yeah. Or like because the cooktop, we can pull it out. So if we're at a campsite or even just boondocking, we can take the stove out here and cook and hang out, but still have the van totally open for like fresh air, but not have to worry about the bugs getting in also.
So one thing that we found is at some of the buggier campsites, with and without this, when it's time to get in bed, we'll close the doors, set the van up in sleeping mode, and then turn all of the internal lights off and light a citronella candle for about 10 to 15 minutes. As if that's the only source of light in the van, then it tends to take care of any of the straggler bugs that got stuck in there, and so we don't have to hear them and feel them all night while we're sleeping. So one of the other things that we found was becoming a hassle every night was putting up the privacy curtain in the back. I redesigned that to be a blanket with Velcro on the sides that will run along this bungee, so that more bungees. Bring this over and hook that up. Bring this here, and then the Velcro on the sides Velcros into the same Velcro of the bug screen. And this is, it's not a perfect blackout, but it does a good job for privacy if we're somewhere where either there are going to be people walking around or we're just looking for some amount of light control in the van for an early morning or early evening. The slide,
Yeah.
lock those up over there and tuck it back behind the driver's seat. So it's a simpler, it's a quicker way to get privacy or darkness in here.
Yeah. It's a good solution.
All right, so a few of the things we did up here, like I said, this was a 96 that already had a conversion kit on it. However, it had seen some better days, so we had to maneuver some of the workings up here. I made a custom cup holder with one side that is big enough to fit her Nalgene specifically. And then, this is a fun little tip. I taped a level here laterally to see, so when I pull up to a campsite, I can get a rough idea of how level the van is left to right. That's helped for, after some of the longer drives or bumpier roads, you can't always tell right away how level the parking spot is, so that's helped with that. Then from there, I added in a backup camera, since all of the windows in the back are blacked out. This was an Amazon purchase. It's the van topper or something like that, and wired that back in, so I have rear view mirror as well as a reverse camera, because this thing is really big compared to what I'm used to driving, and it is totally blind out the back without this. From there, we also added a wireless charger here. So as a passenger, you can just set your phone and that will wirelessly charge, and then the driver has a wireless charger / phone holder, navigation holder as well.
Completely self-built. Not anything in here was outsourced.
Yes, this was completely self-built, and I have no background in electrical, plumbing, or any type of carpentry. If you were to take a close look at most of the things that are done in here, you would see that. But this was all done through YouTube videos, tutorials, and then just figuring out as I went and borrowing tools where I needed. And also design help from Candace. She helped a lot with the design work. For our bathroom options, we have what is usually an orange juice bottle.
It's over here. That's great.
Very mild now. So we have an orange juice bottle. Candace has a filter, and then we also have in here with our dog stuff the shovel. So if let's say you're not in a Walmart parking lot and you need somewhere to go, we have the shovel.
We tried several different funnels. I tried several different funnels. The one out of the automotive section seems to work the best.
Yes.
Nice.
She's found the most luck with the radiator funnel over the specifically manufactured Shiwis and other options.
Yeah.
Ooh, this was one of the upgrades that I did this summer. I took a sink sprayer. Am I looking ahead up? I installed a sink sprayer to the water pump and then extended the cable to be able to get it out here. Should I show it? We have this so that if we need to either shower, rinse off the dog after a hike or a run, rinse the bikes down if we have extra water, we have this. This was a new addition as of this year. We did a trip down to Austin and we did some biking through Asheville, Nashville, and Bentonville, and showering was going to be a large part of that. So I installed this so that we could have fresh running water.
Thanks for watching. If you have a question about Matt and Candace's van, drop a comment below. They'll be able to answer anything that comes to your mind. If you have ideas for us and videos we can make for this channel, drop a comment below. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you. Appreciate you. Love you. Miss you. See you soon.